Welcome back, YouTube and people in my chat. So we're gonna get right back into this lovely case. Hopefully we can get a little bit further than we did last time, and stick it to these people who are trying to basically pin this horrible murder on this 15-year-old girl because they ain't got no sense. I have no idea what's gonna happen. You have no idea what's gonna happen. But we're here to find out. All right. 17th of April, 12:41 p.m. The Old Bailey, defendant's antechamber. Ah, Gina, how are you holding up? Terribly. I mean, the case is not doing so great. I'm trying to feel quite warmly towards her frequent cold shoulders now. Jenny! Are you alright? Why are you not saying anything? I mean, if your life was on the line, you wouldn't necessarily be happy to go right now, would you? What's the point, eh? Why go all this trouble and fighting so hard for likes of me? I mean, everyone deserves due diligence, even if you are a criminal. Like, you're still a child, and you're in a tough circumstance. It doesn't mean you're not owed due diligence. Well, you saw it, that picture. You didn't do it, though. I don't assume that you're a murderer. What picture? Ah, you mean this, the photograph taken by Hurley. Red-handed recorded. Well, I didn't think it would be captured a scene like this for sure. Why don't you just explain what happened? It's hopeless. Anyone who sees that think I did it, ain't it? Well, I won't pretend it wasn't a shock when the prosecution first presented it to the court. Surely you've gotten to have your doubts about me now. You can't still think I'm innocent. I do. If you tell me straight up I didn't do it, then I believe that. Of course I can. How are you being a bratty teenager when I'm trying to help you? Like, I don't understand her at all. There we go. Jenny, why don't you talk to us? Tell us what really happened that night. If you see me moving out of the wind, there's wind in here, where I'm like currently stationed. Reno's clearly managed to piece together a lot of information, but still, we'd really like to hear it from you. I'm surprised we're just now asking her, "Ayo, what happened?" Alrighty then. It was after we had that dinner at your place. Iris, right? Well, right, Iris. Then we all had a chat in your office, didn't we? Yes, I remember. After that, I couldn't get to sleep. So I slipped out and went down the street to 221 to 𝕤𝕠𝕔𝕚𝕒's place. I had to know if Iris' story was there or not. The Hound of Baskervilles. I don't know what it was about or nothing. But if you ask me, there's something in the slums. It's in that slums I don't like. Something don't want people. Something in it that he don't want people reading. That's why he lied to Iris about sticking it in love with 𝕤𝕠𝕔𝕚 for safekeeping. This is a thick British accent that I cannot do. At least that's what I thought at the time. So you broke into 𝕤𝕠𝕔𝕚's. I just had to know if it was there or not. I mean, I had no idea at all that what was going to kick off, did I? I struck the lock and snuck inside. It was as dark as you'd like in there. So I gave the oil lamp on the counter a bit of a wick, and that's when What do you think you're doing? I nearly died. I did. And the next thing I knew, I grabbed the gun off the counter and was waving it in the air like, I don't know what. Ah, so you're the girl that was here this afternoon. I didn't think pickpockets went in for armed robbery. The manuscript, you got it here? Did Sloans leave a lot of paper with you? A story? I beg your pardon? The Hound of the something or other? If it's here, I want to see it. I'm sorry, young lady, but I sooner die than relinquish an article belonging to one of my customers. I don't want it. What would I do with it anyway? I just want to see if it's here, that's all. Oh, you want to see it, do you? I want to know if Sloan's really pawned it here or not. Please, just let me see it and I'll go. Oh, very well then. But for pity's sake, stop waving that gun around, would you? My gun. He said my gun. So she picked up his gun. So then the 𝕒𝕒𝕠𝕦𝕒 unlocked the storeroom door and we both went inside. And it was there, alright, the 𝕤𝕒𝕤𝕤 script. Sloans weren't lying after all. You did all that just to check for me, Ginny? Anyway, there was a bit of a kick up out in the main bit of the shop. The Sulkin brothers arriving on the scene, yes? What was that noise? Someone's breaking in. Oh, what shock! Dear me, is there some burglars convention here tonight I don't know about? Wow, he's like so unbothered about it. I think I forgot to shut the door behind me. Sorry. I'd better go and take care of it. Could I possibly have my gun back? Oh, well, I'll come with you and... Now, don't be foolish, young girl. You must stay right here. Don't leave this room under any circumstance. I mean, she was a kid. And with that, took the gun out of my hands and walked out of the shop. I lunged back in the storeroom like he said, straining my ears in the dark of what was going on. It sounded like they got into a bit of a scrap. I started to think I should help, you see. So I was just about to go into the storeroom myself when... I heard a couple of shots go off. 2, I think. Almost at the same time. And there he was, right at me feet, laying face down on the floor. I was right next to the storeroom door, so I slammed it shut and unlocked it quick, as you like. Because you thought whoever had shot Mr. 𝕤𝕤𝕤 might come after you. Yeah, so I went to grab the 𝕒𝕒𝕠𝕤𝕤's gun. The 𝕒𝕒𝕠𝕤𝕤's gun. I figured I'd put up a fight at least. But when I got the better look at him, I knew. 𝕤𝕤𝕤 was a goner. Aw, she had to witness a murder. Wow. I felt funny in me head all of a sudden, kind of dizzy. It's what seeing a murder would do to you. And after that, I don't remember nothing. And that must have been when you passed out, Genie. If I had done what I had done, the 𝕒𝕒𝕠𝕤 might be alive. Did you tell the police everything you just told us? Of course I did, and they didn't believe a word of it, did they? All they said was if I keep telling lies, it made things even worse for me. I'm not surprised they didn't believe a woman. It'll be alright, Ginny. Don't worry. Just stay strong a little longer. Bruno's about to put the real culprits through the meal. Dang right I am. That cove was there in the afternoon. That 𝕒𝕤𝕤𝕤. I still remember how he looked at me like I was nothing. He was there that night. We don't know his real name yet, but I'm convinced that he's involved somehow. Anyway, thank you for telling us what happened, Genie. I appreciate your honesty. You what? You can leave it all in Runo's capable hands now, Ginny. Oh, we got this case wrapped up before you even know it. Mr. 𝕤𝕒𝕚𝕤. Yes. How can you trust me? I don't get it. I mean, you're a kid. I don't really get the murderous vibes from you, dear. And I've seen murderous kids, trust me. I mean, have you forgotten what happened before? Come on, it was only 2 months ago. Yeah, but you were being threatened to lie, dear. This is not the same. Me and Mr. 𝕤𝕠𝕤𝕤, we told you a whole pack of lies. Well, Mr. 𝕤𝕠𝕤𝕤 was a prone liar and who basically blackmailed and gaslit a child to lies. So, not really all that convinced that, you had much play in that. And you've got the bug trotter off with him, even though he was a killer. We are aware. No, I could never forget that. Oh? I did what I thought was best at the time. But the pain of that era of judgment doesn't get any easier to bear. Still, don't forget that I also made you a promise. I told you that I'd be on your side to the bitter end, no matter what. But what if I'm lying? Are you? It's like she's sitting there going like, but what if I'm doing a terrible thing again? It's like, I feel like you would tell me. Sorry, keep moving. We could be working to get another killer off the book, and for all you know. Yeah, well, I don't think that's the case here. I was once in your position, Gina. I was the accused in the trial. I was against this stupid little British woman who, ooh, I hate that woman. And I can't believe she got off because of pretty white British privilege in my country. You were? Before I left Japan, I was accused of murder. And as strange as it might sound, the circumstances of the crime were pretty damning. I was sure that no one would believe me. It wasn't me who had done it. Oh, Runo. Let's mention that it was her father. But there was one person who stood up for me, who believed in me and was prepared to defend me. My best friend who is now dead. Oh, look how handsome he is. He's so dreamy. Oh, God. Beautiful. Leave this to me. All you need is to put your faith in me and I'll do the rest. Ah, he's so hot. Ah, can we marvel at his beauty? I was so happy I cried. I'd be happy too. He's so great. I don't know. He's so hot. It's just, But even then, somewhere inside me, I couldn't help thinking, surely he doesn't really believe in me. Ah, stairs. Hi. But I was wrong. Look at us. We look so great together. Don't we look? Hold on. Let me show you. Hold on. Hold on. Where am I? Look. Don't we look so good together? That's like a screenshot worthy moment where we look so cute together. I just my head on his shoulder, just I think we look amazing together. If only. If only. Anyway, I'll stop misbehaving. Move over here. Oh. There we go. Back to the story, sorry. But I was wrong. Ah! As soon as my trial began... Oh, I'm a little bit too up. Hold on, let me fix that. Let me just... There we go. Sorry, I just scooped down a bit. It was obvious that he had an absolute unwavering belief in me. And in turn, I developed an absolute unwavering belief in him. And then he died. I'm sorry, that's terrible. Since then, I came to realize if you want someone to believe in you, you have to believe in the other person first. What are you saying? I believe in you. I promise you, Gina. And no matter what happens, I'll keep believing in you. So don't you need to worry. I won't let you down. Even though I'm a diver and a no good liar, you're not like Mr. 𝕤𝕤𝕤. I know that. That's right. You're our friend, Ginny. Iris, we know better than what you think. And we've come to the conclusion that you're someone we could trust. 𝕤𝕤𝕤𝕤. That's really all we need to know. Exactly. Mr. 𝕤𝕤𝕤, I Oh, she's crying. Oh my god, she's so precious. Defendant Gina Lestrade and her legal representative. Court proceedings are about to resume. Please head into the courtroom immediately. Let's go wave our stuff. Yes, of course. Thank you. Let's go show him, Gina. I've been both a defendant and a defending lawyer in my time, so I knew only too well just how hard it was to put all your faith in another. And I also knew just how hard it was to bear the burden of another putting all your faith in you. And this is it at last, the final chapter, the final battle. Wish me luck, Sarah Tetsuto-san, and I hope you're watching over me too, partner. We got this, guys. We got this. I'm gonna make sure we win this game. After all, I'm great at this. No other person can solve crimes like your resident alien deity, Neby. If there's anything I know how to do is solve a mystery and finish a puzzle. It's my thing. I hereby call this court to order as we resume the trial of Miss Gina Lestrade. Lord Von Zeddy, have you successfully subpoenaed the witness? That's right, bring that liar in here. The subpoena was delivered to the communication station where the man works immediately, my lord. However, the heavy rain has delayed the arrival of his carriage, it would seem. I see. Of course. Then let us turn our attention to Inspector Gregson's pursuit of the case heard by the court this morning. The glaring omission of the third bullet in your report is a serious blunder, Inspector. Yes, I can only apologize, my lord. And all of the defense chemical analysis of the blood at the scene makes for a compelling argument. I cannot permit such untried methods to be used as evidence in my courtroom. It's a big mistake to cross Hurley and me. A very big mistake. My lord, the subpoena witness has just arrived in the building. Well, let's bring him. That'll stop me. Thank you, officer. Show him to the stand without delay. Mr. 𝕒𝕤𝕤. I didn't expect to be crossing paths with him again so soon. And certainly not like this. Let's go. What up, liar? Thank you for complying to the court subpoena at such short notice, sir. But of course, my lord, as an outstanding member of society, it is my pleasure to oblige. Now, kindly state your name and occupation for the record. Ashley Graydon. Your name sucks. Sorry. Ashley Graydon. Communications officer. Is that even your real name? Mr. Graydon and I both work at the London Central Communication Station. Now, perhaps somebody would kindly explain what all this is about. Oh, you're a terrible person, and we're here to put you in jail for a crime that you committed. You lying, low-life, pinning this on a little girl. Have you no shame, sir? Ugh, you awful human being, you. Awful, 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 awful. Anyway. You were apprised of the situation by the court officer on your way here, I presume? Yeah, they told you what happened, so stop acting like you don't know that you're basically being committed or being accused of such crime. Anyway. Yes, what to do with the murder that took place at the pawnbrokers on the street? Oh, you mean the same pawnbroker where you brought a gun and tried to lie on said 15-year-old? Like this jacket that you were trying to take from her definitely belonged to you, even though you clearly lied because you were clearly after the stupid music disc in the damn jacket. And some nonsense about me having been there on the night in question. It's not nonsense. He's British, don't trust him. Oh, I don't. But now, not because he's British. That is the accusation indeed. This really is beyond a joke, you know. No, your existence is a joke. Very well, without further delay, the court will hear your testimony now, Mr. Graydon. Watch him lie. Watch him give me all these lies. But it's okay. I'm gonna watch him. I'm gonna break down all his lies. Your response to the accusation made against you under oath. You will respond. Look at this JoJo character. Look at this just JoJo character. Gladly, my lord, gladly. He's like a very poorly written JoJo's character. Alright, here we go. Oops, sorry, hold on. Slight hydration. Naturally, I have organized to make use of pawnbrokering services from time to time. I have occasion to make use of the pawnbroker service from time to time. Reading English is hard for me. But are you seriously suggesting I concluded with these thugs to break into the place on the night of the murder? I have no intention of admitting to such an outrageous accusation. I wouldn't admit to a crime either. But you did it. Even if the certain parties here present claim that my blood was found at the scene. Such scraggamouth detectives homebrewed in tech culture can hardly be taken seriously as serious evidence. Well, watch me use it as serious evidence. You never said anything of value. So you deny the accusation completely, do you? I must say, I am dismayed. For the highest court of the land to be swayed by these self-professed detective toys. If there was a will of the jury, and our great British justice system demands that the jury's will is upheld. In other words, that it would seem we have the misinformation of most incompetent assembly of jurors today. I I'll have you know, I am definitely not wasting your time because I know you did it. Because you pulled a gun on me and dang shot. Whatever. Not to even say the jurors are even all that great because they have their own issues, but sir, you are a criminal and I definitely believe you did this. 100%. I bear my fangs to you, sir. Ah! Oh, hold on. Ah! By golly. How long am I expected to be detained here? Until we prove that you did it? Jerk. If following the defense cross-examination, your involvement in this matter has not been established, so you will be free to leave immediately. Good, then I shall be away in time for afternoon tea. Some small consolation at least. Let us not hold up Mr. Graydon any longer than necessary, counsel. Proceed with the cross-examination. Oh, we going to. I'm gonna show you why he needs to stay here. So we meet again, Mr. 𝕒𝕒𝕤𝕤. Or is it Mr. Graydon? My apologies. You are... Oh, so now you want to act like you don't even know me. Oh, I'm about to push you into the whole dirt. The whole dirt. Let's go. Let us go. 𝕤𝕒𝕤𝕤 Naruhodo, defense lawyer. We have met. Alright, Jojo. If you say so. Ashley Graydon. Enchanté. You can enchanté that out of my face. You lying sucker. So, what? Oh! Not you throwing your hat off at me. Oh, no you didn't. I trust we can conclude this quickly. Take your hat. I asked for your hat. Wow, good. Listen, I'm trying, okay? I'm not the best at talking junk. I'm really bad at it. I wish I was better, but I'm usually a nice person. It's the unfortunateness about me. But I'm not holding your flashy hat like we do. I hope you go bald. Alright, homie, let me show you why you such a liar. I don't care about this. Don't care about this. Don't care about this. Don't care about this. So, here it is. This is what I want to know. Hey, yo, homie, let's have a conversation about this statement right here. Blood was found at the scene of the crime. There's no question of that. Mr. 𝕤𝕒𝕤𝕤's chemical analysis has possibly identified the substance as such. But I'm not the only human to have blood running through their veins, am I? How can you be so sure that the blood is mine? It could equally be the blood of one of these two miscreants. Every individual's blood has a slightly different composition, it seems. Mr. 𝕤𝕒𝕤's chemical is able to differentiate. Okay. Spare me the science lesson. Rude? Who is this Mr. 𝕤𝕒𝕤's character anyway? Nigga, is you serious? Now you don't know who this is? You don't know who this is? YouTube, I'm apologizing, but... Really? Okay. Okay, homie. Okay, homie. Oh, I assume all Londoners would know the name. He's a renowned detective. So even you are unable to bring yourself to say great detective. A great detective, you say? Just now we're in the realm of fantasies, aren't we? Excuse me? I'm sorry. Did you have something to say? Darling, what's the matter? Speak up, dear. Tell the class.
Excuse me.
Do you have something you have to say about Mr. Sulkin? What? Me? No, the one that's clearly looking over. Right. I have to admit it. I had it up to here with this. How many times I gotta tell you? Yes, I know. You're not Big Bruv Sulky. Mr. Nash Sulkin. 𝕤𝕒𝕤𝕤, what? Is that not the case that when Mr. Gregson just spoke, a thought just went through your mind? As prompted by the game? Would you care to share that thought with the court? Me thoughts? I don't have none of them. It must have been them. You what? Oh my god, boys. Mr. Nash, answer the question, please. What went through your mind when Mr. Graydon just spoke? Nothing, honest, Gov, nothing. I was thinking if he waves his arms around like that much more, it'll open up the wound again, that's all. I'm sorry? You said there's a wound? Where is the wound? We haven't discussed the wound. Oh no! Is the poor baby hurt? Where is the pain? Where's the pain? What wound? Where he took a bullet, of course. It was only 2 days ago. It ain't gonna be healed up yet. So I was, well, you know, I was worrying for him and... Oh, hell's bell. Oh, are you just now realizing your mistake? Oh, how exciting this is. Tell me, Nash, dear, where is the wound? Where is it, darling? Where is his wound? Mr. Graydon! Did you hear that? What? Your comrade is worried about you, it seems. On an account of your injured arm. My lord. Yes, Mr. Graydon. I have no idea what these two wretches are talking about. You are currently clutching said wound, dear. Are you okay? Do you want us to bandage it for you? Certainly, I couldn't be expected to answer anything in relation to their mindless insinuations. We know that someone other than the victim was hit by a bullet at the scene of the crime 2 nights ago. And from the height of the bullet in the wall, that person was likely hit in the upper arm or, you know, thereabouts. So tell me, Graydon, are you injured, dear? Did you seem to suffer a fatal little wound in your pretty little arm? Perhaps you would allow a court official to examine your arm, sir. The left arm that you're currently collapsing with your right arm, as if it's in pain. No, I refuse. Aw, that's too bad. You have shown no evidence whatsoever that links me to these common thieves. Accordingly, I am not obligated to permit any such invasion of my privacy. You know, that would be true. That would be true, but it does make you look very suspicious, which is exactly what I wanted. As I've already said, I'm completely uninvolved with any and all of this. You know, I'm finding it hard to believe here, dear. I really am, you know. Could be me, but I think I'm finding that to be bull. Definite bullshit. I have never had anything to do with the pawnbrokery where this fellow was killed whatsoever. Oh, you see how crazy how that is? I bet you I got evidence to prove that you were there. I've met you before, and you're nothing but a liar. I take offense at this insinuation and that I was ever in any way involved. You've claimed to have nothing whatsoever. You've claimed to have had nothing whatsoever to do with Mr. Wendybake's pawnbrokery. My lord, the defense would like to at least that last statement to be added to Mr. Graydon's formal testimony. Very well, counsel. Continue with your testimony, Mr. Graydon. We're only getting started, everyone. This last statement that he did. The bottom line is I never had anything to do with the pawnbroker's establishment where that man was killed. You see about that, right? Hold it. Never had anything to do with it. You forgot that I was there, Mr. Graydon, on the very afternoon of the incident? Obviously, I'm not a complete stranger to the pawnbrokers. I'm certainly on the lookout for an armchair to furnish my study. No, you were there to redeem an article. I have no idea what you're talking about. Oh, you see what's crazy? You know what's crazy? Is that, like, we literally almost caught you trying to steal. It's like you forgot. You don't remember? You don't remember, love? You don't remember? I remember because you were there, sir. I was there and I saw you, sir. Oh my god, it was so great. It's almost like that definitely happened and I was definitely aware of such things. Oh, you idiot. Anyway, don't let me down. Don't let me down, Greggy. Tell him like it is. Excuse me. Do you have something to add, Inspector? Come again, Sunshine? You were there too, in fact. Weren't you, Inspector? That afternoon that someone conveniently forgot. Well, yeah, I do remember meeting yourself and the pawnbrokers that afternoon. You and your young Japanese assistant and the accused were all present, as I recall. Oh, were we? And at that time, the witness, Mr. Graydon, was trying to acquire a particular article. Well now. I'm afraid I don't remember too clearly. Greggy, don't make me punch you in the face. What? But you must. I'm not going to lie and pretend I remember something I don't. What is going on here? Greggy showed us the picture before, didn't he? You know, from the cameras that Hurley installed in Mr. Wendybake's. Yes, of course. Indeed. And the gentleman picture bears a striking resemblance to the witness, I must say. Exactly, which proves that Mr. Graydon was in the shop on the afternoon in question. At no point have I denied that fact. I merely entered the shop to pursue the articles on sale and have a word with the broker. Nothing more. Oh, but that's such a lie. But it's okay. Why are you lying, Greggy? Why are you lying? This makes no sense. Word, why is he lying? Why is he protecting him? I understand that why Mr. Graydon might be covering his tracks. But why would Mr. Gregson be trying to avoid giving that testimony about what happened? Is it because he couldn't catch him? I think it's because he couldn't catch him, and that's why he's like, had I caught him, none of this would have happened, because then it would show that I'm incompetent. That's the theory I'm gonna go with. I feel like he's only saying that he didn't catch him because then he would be incompetent. Okay. What do you think, Runo? I think he has no intention of telling us anything. He's well aware that the less he says, the less chance he has given himself away. The complete opposite of Hurley then. He seems to think that the more he says, the better. Well, at least I managed to prise a little more information from these witnesses' lips. All thanks to the 𝕤𝕒𝕠𝕦𝕒 brothers. Yes, they were the key to it after all. So he says he has nothing to do with it and it was Mr. 𝕤𝕤𝕤𝕤. Well, we know that's not true. Perhaps he would be a good time to have a proper look through the court record. Good idea. You never know what tiny scrap of information could be a valuable weapon. Right then. So, he says he wasn't there, right? He says like, oh, I didn't do it, I didn't have the case, I didn't have the case. That's not what happened. But what we need to basically make him remember is why he was at the pawnbrokeries in the first place. What he was really there for and what we originally had to do with him and the whole case and that whole matter, right? So in order to do that, we have to present what he was actually looking for. And what he was looking for, ladies and gentlemen, was this. Where is it? Ah, here it is. This is what he was looking for. Objection. Have you ever seen this disc before, Mr. Gregson? Oh, what is that supposed to mean? Something? This disc was until the day of the murder in the pawn shop of Mr. 𝕤𝕤𝕤𝕤's shop. It was redeemed by the defendant, Miss Gina Lestrade, that afternoon, however. Somebody mysteriously appeared to try to take it from her. And that somebody was you, of course. Wasn't it, Mr. Graydon? And as I have reiterated numerous times now, you are mistaken, that was not me. I have never seen a disc before in my life. Crazy. One second. Drinking water is really difficult sometimes. It may have escaped your notice, but there's a small smear of blood on the disc. Ah, yes, resulting from an aspirin of the thumb, perhaps. That's right, the surface of the disc is covered in hundreds of tiny metal bumps. In the skirmish to acquire the disc, the thumb of the person who tried to take off and suffered minor laceration. Just getting injured left and right, aren't you, dear? So while the disc bears the remnants of the skirmish in the forms of a smear of the blood, the thumb of the person in question must bear the remnants also in the form of a scratch. Good gracious, indeed it must. I mean, nothing gets by you, do they, dear? Mr. Graydon? You refused to allow a court officer to examine your arm before. Are you now refusing to allow us to examine your thumb? He's probably going to say yes. Because I have no doubt that it bears a small scratch consistent with the smear of the blood of this disc. Well. It would seem I underestimated you. Oh my god, it's like you can't lie for shit, and I'm really good at this. What was the meaning of this? He's a liar. So you admit it now. You admit you have a scratch on your thumb from when you attempted to try to take the disc from the defendant. Order! Order! Well, Mr. Graydon, It would appear that there had been something of a misunderstanding here. Oh, please entertain me with this dumb and misunderstanding that you're about to bring up. I did not attempt to take the disc, as you put it. No, quite the reverse. What are you trying to say? Really quite simple, you see. The disc was mine from the outset. But it wasn't. Is there some crime in taking an item that you own out the pawn? What? It would seem, 𝕒𝕤𝕤𝕤, that in the piece of evidence my learned friend has established a link between yourself and the incident. Accordingly, you will tell the court everything you know about the disc now. As you wish. Though I'm quite sure it has nothing of whatsoever to do with the pawnbroker's murder. Oh, but I believe it does. And I'm gonna tell you how it does after you give me this stupid testimony. Here we go. There's a note on the disc that says, for Mr. 𝕒𝕤𝕤, but the item belongs to me. The redemption ticket was stolen from me by the accused, the filthy 𝕤𝕤𝕤, on the day in question. I proceeded at once to the shop in order to explain my situation and redeem my article. In the end of the course, the disc was taken by the police. In other words, I have no absolute reason to break into the shop later that same night. Did I hear you correctly, sir? 𝕒𝕤𝕤, you said? The famous London philanthropist? Who perished in the courtroom, this very courtroom 2 months ago after being acquitted of a distinctly messy murder. Yes, my lord. The one and the same. Good lord, Mr. Graydon. Are you saying that Mr. 𝕒𝕤𝕤 and yourself were acquitted? Were acquainted? Sorry. I mean, you know, two terribly criminal people were definitely acquainted. Yes, that's correct. Order. Well, I certainly didn't expect to hear the name uttered here in the courtroom again. According to what the Gina told us, this was placed in the faithful 9 months ago. It's funny that Mr. Graydon here is claiming that this belongs to him, isn't it? In all likelihood, he's lying. So he appeared that afternoon. It is not funny. It's just basically, I just have to prove that he's lying, which is super easy to do. As, you know, I was there. Counsel, you will commence your cross-examination, please. Oh, most definitely. Watch me work my magic. Alright, well, moving on. Don't care. Do not care. Dang, it's so crazy. Oh my god, what a lie. Ah, here's what I'm looking for. Yes, it was taken by Inspector Grayson there, wasn't it? That's right. This was the very man. Apparently, the police are collecting anything that has connected to Mr. 𝕒𝕤𝕤 as evidence. Oh? Do you have something to share, Mr. Lying over there?
Excuse me.
Is there something wrong, Inspector? Well, what do you mean? You clearly had something to say. The last remark Mr. Grayson made in his testimony seemed to trouble you in some way. No, it didn't. It's nothing. Leave it alone. Let me ask you this, Inspector. Why is Scotland Yard gathering Mr. 𝕒𝕤𝕤's possessions? I can't tell you something like that, Sunshine. What is it, Inspector? Investigative secrets? Yes, exactly. You should all know about that. Magnus 𝕒𝕤𝕤, who died so Unexpectedly, after his trial 2 months ago, a man renowned throughout the capital for his great contributions to the public life, yet he had a dark side too. Where are you going with this, Vanzetti? I suppose the police are dealing with the aftermath of his nefarious activities, are they? That's enough. Coppers like me have duties to carry out, and we're not at liberty to talk about. That's all you need to know. Duties conferred by Strongheart, I presume. The Lord Chief Justice appears to have great faith in you, Inspector. The bottom line is, if you want to get more out of me, you gotta need Strongheart's paw print first. What's all this about? It's like there's something going on between Gregson and Lord Vanzetti here. Well, it would appear that Inspector has revealed all that he is at liberty to reveal. Mr. Graydon, let us return to your testimony. Gladly, my lord. Alright, so there's something going on in behind the scenes which we won't get any access to. No problem. I don't really need it, really, because what I'm about to do is show this right here. So I just need to do this here with this statement. Okay, what am I looking for? Here it is. This is what I want to do.
Objection.
This disc was disposited at Windy Banks on Magnus McGilda's instruction. You knew that, and you went there with the intention of obtaining it yourself.
Objection.
Would you let me speak, sir? Conjecture again, and in any case, the disc was taken into custody by the police that afternoon. Okay, but listen, the witness had no reason to visit the pawnbroker again that night, but he did. I will tell you why. Sorry, my learned friend, but that's not true. What? Mr. McGilda had another article in the pawn shop at Mr. Windybanks, as this second pawnbrokery ticket proves. There were 2 articles belonging to Mr. McGilda in the Windybanks' pawnbrokery, and the reason you broke into the shop that night was to recover the second one. Together with these 2 accomplices, the Sulkin brothers. This is the second ticket, is it? What had that man deposited? The article description reads, 1 small box. A rather vague description, it appears to me. Are you suggesting that I broke into the pawnbrokery with these clowns in order to steal some trinket box? I believe there are adequate grounds to suspect that you did. This is absurd. Why on earth would I do such a thing, if you would let me tell you? Once the article had been forfeited, I could simply walk into the shop and purchase it. There would be no absolute need for me to resort to theft. That's a good point. Indeed. The witness makes a solid argument. So that means that for some reason, this Gregson fellow needed the small box that very night, does it? It's time to put an end to this nonsense, my lord. Could you be a little less cryptic, Lord Vanzetti? I do hate to ruin my learned friend's argument, but the truth is quite incontrovertible. On the night in question, no small box was taken from Mr. Windybanks' pawnbrokery. And the rest assured the prosecution can prove it. What? Good gracious! Inspector, show the photographic prints to the court, if you please. What prints? These prints were taken from the one's protective security cameras. Oh, Harley's red-handed recorders again. As previously explained, using the plan of the shop layout, the victim's establishment was furnished with automatic cameras in 2 locations. One was set to capture the counter where Mr. Windybanks received his customers, and the other was set to capture the shelves in which the articles were placed for sale once forfeited. According to the information on this ticket, the Gildic small box had been forfeited already, 2 days before the incident, at 9 p.m. on 13th of April to be precise, which means it would have been on the shelves of the forfeited items in the shop front. Now, what I have here is the print taken by one of the cameras about 2 hours before the incident. That at 11 p.m. on 15th of April. The victim certainly had a very full shop, it would appear. And then here we have another print. This one was taken about 2 hours after the incident. I see. Okay. Alright guys, let's look at this closely. Something's here, or that's hidden, that isn't in the other photo. So let's see if we can find it. Oh, okay. I think I have it. I'm looking really closely because I think something's. This is probably one of those stethoscope things, the stereoscope things where to cross your eyes. Let's see. Okay. I'm not seeing a difference. Really? Maybe we can zoom in when we get a chance to look at them. Dear me, it's starting to make my head ache. Obviously, at Scotland Yard, we considered that the one possible motive of this case. We explored the possibility that something had been taken in addition to the victim's life. So your men had already compared the two photographs thoroughly, Inspector? Yes, sir. Something's different about these photos, but I'm trying to find out where it is. Everything kind of looks the same. Those shells look the same. Those look the same. Those books look the same. Those photos look this. Hold on. Wait a minute. Oh, something was moved. Something was moved. Oh my god, something was moved. Someone moved something. It's so slight. It's so slight you would probably miss it. But if you look really, really closely, and I'm gonna count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. In the 10th box, 3rd row, there was a slight movement. So there was something moved in the 3rd row. Basically, I can't really count them, but something was moved, and I just caught it. I just like, wait, that looks different. It's very, very slight, so you would probably miss it. But I think that was the box that we're looking for. And this, the Yard's conclusion is that the exactly same number are presented in both. No, they're not exactly. Something was moved and something was taken. In other words, nothing was taken from the pawnbroker on the night of the question. And my learned friend assertion is nothing more than a hopeful fantasy. Get up, boy. I will prove to you why that's not the case. Get up, 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 get up. Listen, JoJo character. You know what, Una? I've been thinking. I wonder if these two photographs really are exactly the same. What? So, counsel, in the light of the evidence put forth by the prosecution, what is your position? I believe they lying, and I'm gonna show you why they lying in just a second. It seems that, in fact, one night in question, nothing was stolen from the victim's establishment. You know, Judge, at first I would have believed that, but I'm gonna show you why that's not the case. And you will see why that's not the case. Do you accept the prosecution's assertion? I don't. I don't know. Could there be a hidden discrepancy in these two photographs somewhere? Oh, there is. Watch. I wasn't sure at first, but there is a clear discrepancy between the two photo prints. What? You must identify the location in question for the court counsel. So here's the problem. It's right here. It's this one right here. I think you do this one. Granted, these two prints are almost identical. However, there's one minor discrepancy between them. What? When you view the two pictures stereoscopically, I was right! I was right! A single area stands out as being different. The location of this small box. Let me see. Wait, unbelievable! By Jove, you're right! How extraordinary! What this tells us is very simple. Mr. McGillicuddy's small box was indeed not stolen from Mr. Windybanks on the night in question. However, there can be no doubt that somebody picked it up in this particular box and then returned it to its place on the shelves. How are you suggesting that this small box originally dispositioned by Mr. McGillicuddy is in fact... Yes, the very same box I just identified in those photographic prints. Man, this guesswork. What if it was? So a box was moved on the shelf. Nothing was stolen. Which means, quite simply, that nothing has changed. Oh, but it has. That may be true, but... it does change things. It changes everything. What do you mean it doesn't change things? I believe this changes everything about the case. How can that possibly be? The crucial point is the fact that the crucial point is the fact that what was moved was a small box. In other words, we have to consider what might have been inside of that box. What are you suggesting? I'm suggesting that we need to examine that box as soon as possible. A vital piece of evidence is sitting on the shelf at Windybanks as we speak.
Objection.
That won't be necessary. Some little box belonging to a man who died 2 months ago couldn't possibly be relevant to this trial. I disagree. The court does not uphold your objection, Lord Von Zaddy. Bailiff, arrange for an officer to go to Barker Street at once. Obtain the small box in question and bring it back to here for further examination. We're doing great. We should have a report within half an hour. I think perhaps we should recess for a short while until the evidence is brought forth. To be hoodwinked by such a farce. Disappointing. I beg your pardon, Lord Von Zaddy? This is nothing more but a smokescreen. A Neby specialty, it would seem. You gonna stop insulting me. That's what you trying to say. What you trying to say? My learned friend has a persistent with the same line of reasoning from the very beginning. That the witness' intent was to steal an article belonging to Mr. 𝕒𝕒𝕐𝕐 from the pawnbroker. Yet common sense tells us that none of the articles have been value enough to be worth stealing in the first place. Exactly. It would be beyond absurd to break into a place for a purpose of stealing such commonplace property. Here we go with this dumb glass. If your lordship recalls, Mr. 𝕒𝕒𝕐𝕐𝕐 perished 2 months ago immediately after the conclusion of his trial, a trial in which he was found not guilty, a trial in which it was established that he was an upstanding member of society, his reputation implied, in fact. You didn't believe that. Wait, you didn't even believe that. You argued against saying that that wasn't the case. So I propose a toast to my learned friend and his most insightful defense. The articles this upstanding member of society pawned were eternally ordinary. A black overcoat that just happened to have a music box disc in one of its pockets, and a small box. I assure you, I wouldn't accept it even if a man tried to make it a gift such things to me. You know, that does make a rather lot of sense. It's not as if it was gold or jewels, or is it? Though goodness knows Mr. 𝕒𝕒𝕐𝕐𝕐 was rich enough. But you can't deposit cash at a cash broker. That doesn't mean it wasn't valued. It wasn't made of value. The prosecution argument is undeniably compelling. If this is the incremental defense now to bolster its argument, why buy it if you're not going to drink it? To explain what possible significance this commonplace articles pawned by this fine citizens could have. Don't get caught up. Don't worry. I got this. Don't worry. He's just talking nonsense. Well, counsel, is your argument in fact demonstrable? Are you able to prove that the disc or the box are in any tangible way relevant to this case? Well, I mean, I can. I'm gonna show you how in a second. What's the matter, 𝕤𝕒𝕐𝕐? We know that they're related, don't we? They're both vital pieces of evidence. Yes, of course, you and I both know that. We know Mr. 𝕒𝕒𝕐𝕐𝕐's true character, and we know that this is significant, even if we don't know why. But if we explain all that to the court at this point, we'll have to acknowledge that Mr. 𝕒𝕒𝕐𝕐𝕐 acquitted 2 months ago was a mistake. That the defense's argument was flawed based on false information. Oh no, and that would mean admitting that Gina committed perjury. Right, because if we say that, then she's gonna be even more looked at bad because she basically lied on the stand. Which she did, but is that what he's doing now? Because he's anticipated everything? But maybe that could be a great opportunity for us. What? How? What do you mean? Well, what was it that you always say, 𝕤𝕒𝕐𝕐𝕐? Sooner or later, the truth comes out. Every time. Alright, the exact significance of this things in this. I mean, yeah, we'll basically be proving that she lied on the stand, but maybe her lying was actually a good thing because now we can prove something else. Because if we prove that she lied on the stand, and that means we'll be able to prove that there's some value to the things that were stolen. Okay. Maybe we should put her. I think the game's gonna put her on the stand, and that would Yeah, having her testify would be beneficial. I'm gonna have her testify. My lord of defense would like to make a proposal. Oh, what proposal, counsel? While the court awaits the arrival of Mr. 𝕒𝕐𝕔𝕚𝕒's small box, I would like to call the defendant, Miss Gina Lestrade, to the witness stand. The defendant? To what end? It's to do with the various articles deposited at Mr. Wendy Banks's by Mr. 𝕒𝕐𝕔𝕚, my lord. Miss Lestrade has information related to them. I believe it would be beneficial for the court to hear what she has to say. It will prove the significance of the articles in question once and for all. Well, well, things are becoming interesting. Very. I presume you've considered the implications of the testimony you're proposing. In particular, the impact that it would have on the accused standing and, indeed, your own. I have. Lord Vanzetti, would you care to explain that last remark? The prosecution accepts the defense's proposal. I've moved to interrupt the cross-examination of the current witness and hear from the accused herself. Very well, if you have no objections. So, the court will now hear the testimony of the defendant, Miss Gina Lestrade. Your witness currently in the stands may step down until further notice. Then I shall bid you a good day. We never said you could leave. Wait, you, sir, shall remain in the stand while Miss Lestrade testifies. As you wish. Alright then, Gina, it's time. You got this, Gina. Show me why believing in you is gonna work out for me in the long run. Good luck, right now. We got this. We're gonna get her to talk. The articles on Mr. 𝕒𝕐𝕔𝕚 had deposited at Mr. Wendy Banks' pawnbrokery are intimately related with the omnibus case, the trial of which was heard in this courtroom 2 months ago. Yes, and I remember this young lady being brought before me in the trial as well. That's right, my lord. Her testimony helped to establish the innocence of the defendant, Mr. 𝕒𝕐𝕔𝕚. The omnibus case was intriguing, to say the least. And now here we are again, the same players in that trial, facing each other once more. A twist of fate, perhaps, my Japanese friend. Allow me to recap the events 2 months ago. An old brickmaker was stabbed to death on the omnibus running along Londoners' winter streets. Apart from the victim, there was only one other person in the carriage, Mr. 𝕒𝕐𝕔. Naturally, he was the prime suspect of the murder, but as the trial progressed, another possibility emerged. The murder was in fact took place above the defendant's head on the roof deck, with the blood that had been dropped through the skylight into the carriage below. It was Miss Lestrade whose testimony brought that possibility to light. At the time of the incident, Miss Lestrade was concealed under a seat in the carriage, hoping to pick pockets of unsuspecting passengers. Then, immediately after the trial, having been acquitted of the murder, Mr. 𝕒𝕐𝕔 died in the very courtroom in the most extraordinary circumstance. A mystery that remains unsolved even though 2 months on. Yeah, I wonder how he did die. As intended, as indeed does the omnibus murder itself. Be it that as it may. Yeah, we're gonna get to why this is all important in a second, Doc. Just give me a second. I recall neither the disc nor the small box being mentioned in the course of those proceedings. Again, I'm gonna get to that. Just Bear with me. Miss Lestrade. Could you please tell the court now? Please. What really happened in the omnibus 2 months ago, I mean? I don't know what you mean. I already said all I know. And what about everything you told us yesterday from the inside of your prison cell? Please, Miss Lestrade, this is extremely important. But remember, little girl, if it transpires that you willfully withheld information in the trial 2 months ago, the Home Office will speak to your prosecution for your perjury. And naturally, you will lose all credibility as a witness. Although, let's face facts, you have little credibility to lose. Wow, thanks, Mom, Daddy. We can sure depend on you. Gina, don't listen to him. It's true, even if she did lie, she has a way to basically make herself even more believed if she does this. Please, you have to trust Bruno now. Iris, we are on your side. Alright then, I'll talk. That a girl. It's the right choice, Gina. Well, it would seem that my learned friend is hell-bent on bringing the entire courtroom down to his ears. So be it then. I must confess I'm struggling to understand what on earth is happening. However, it would appear that Mr. 𝕤𝕠𝕔𝕚𝕒 articles of that extraordinary case of the omnibus hereby secrets in which we have to 𝕤𝕠𝕤𝕤. Not hetero, I don't know what that word is. So, Mr. Lestrade, you will now give your testimony before the court about the events 2 months ago. Alright, let's see what she's got. Alright, here we go. Don't look so down, Gina. You got this, honey. Be as brave. Truth is that the brickmaker Cove was in the cabin in the omnibus the whole time. When the Irishman dragged me out from under the seat, I saw the disc on the floor. All of a sudden, I heard a scream from overhead. Dead, and the pair of the roof deck went off to call the slops. That's when Mr. 𝕤𝕠𝕔𝕚 slipped the driver some tin to do a run to the pawn shop around the about. He threatened me not to snitch, not to say nothing to no one and of what I seen or heard. Good job. Good job. You did great, girl. Good grief, this is outrageous. What you just told the court bears almost no resemblance to your testimony 2 months ago. As you say, my lord. And then there's every chance I may have to adjudicate an error in Mr. 𝕤𝕠𝕔𝕚𝕒's trial. It sounds very much to me as the man deliberately deceived this court. You're just catching on? In the effort to cover up the most wicked of schemes. Yes. That's why it wasn't that bad that he burned alive. Without doubt, your lordship is correct. The great injustice was done in the courtroom 2 months ago. The actions of the accused in the trial to this witness and the learned friend are extremely inexcusable. You're wrong. A lot of you are. Mr. 𝕤𝕠𝕤, the lawyer there, didn't do nothing about it. Didn't know nothing about it. Humbug. How would I have known that? I don't think so. Are you really expected to believe that? He really snitched everyone out, didn't he? What an operation to get the man scot-free. Unforgivable. Stop. The lies have to stop. Stop. Yes, the defense made a terrible error of judgment. I intend to take full responsibility and suffer whatever consequences are deemed appropriate. However, it is imperative that the court allows the witness to elaborate on her testimony, because the true significance of 𝕤𝕤𝕤𝕤 pawn articles must be brought to light. Very well, my learned student friend. Thank you. Given the depths of your calamity you have just plunged yourself into, this may be worth hearing. Words fail me. The situation is utterly deplorable. Mr. 𝕤𝕤𝕤𝕤. Yes, my lord. I will decide upon your fate following the conclusion of your trial. Of course, my lord. Blimey, 𝕤𝕤𝕤𝕤. Now, counsel, proceed with the cross-examination. I guess we'll just get her to talk a little bit more about any of the things. I guess we'll just try to, we'll try to get her to keep talking more about it. And you were hiding in the cabin at the time as well, weren't you, Mr. Lestrade? If I remember rightly, in the storage compartment underneath one of the seats. Yeah, that's right. It's pitch black under there, so I can't see nothing at all. Now, in your testimony 2 months ago, I feel certain that you claimed Mr. 𝕤𝕤𝕤𝕤 was the sole passenger, did you not? False testimony, my lord. That's what he told me I had to say. But it's important that you tell us the truth now. Where Mr. 𝕤𝕤𝕤𝕤 and the victim acquainted? I don't know, but I did hear him talking a lot. What were they talking about? Well, I couldn't hear too well, but if I had to say, I think it was about money or something. They kept talking about buying and not buying. Perhaps business dealings of some kind. Well, anyway, they got louder and louder and it started to sound like a proper fight. I was pretty scared by then. I could hardly dare to breathe, and then all of a sudden, I heard a noise like someone was keeling over the floor. It was booming and loud. I believe you let out an involuntary scream? Yeah, that's what gave me away. Okay, nothing there. Let's try this one. What are you doing, sir, over there? And what the disc you saw was this? Gina? Yeah, what are you guys doing? I just saw the back of his head and I'm just like, Can I talk to you? Is there something you'd like to share with the court, Inspector Grayson and Mr. Graydon? Inspector! Mr. Graydon! Blimey, are you trying to give us a heart attack? You have been whispering to each other for quite some time now. Tell us, what is the discussion about? Discussion? What's this fella? Pull the other one, Sunshine. You think you've got anything to talk about with the shady jit like this? And I have nothing to say to this uncloth detective after he deprived me of that disc that was rightfully mine. But they clearly were talking the entire time I was cross-examining Gina. It's as if they had been negotiating. Okay. You will kindly refrain from talking amongst yourselves while the witness is giving a testimony. Yes, I'm sorry, my lord. What were those two talking about? What were you discussing? Okay, so we're not gonna read what she's saying here because she's basically going over what happened, and we already know what happened. She's already told us most of the story. It's also to save me of some breathing room, but basically she's basically going over the stuff that happened in the case. Everything we already know. The guy went through this, and this was the case, and now the site where... We know what happened, because she told us in the jail cell what happened. If they immediately left to fetch the police, it would appear that the entire... unrelated to the incident. So that left Mr. McGill and you still at the scene. Yeah, only the driver didn't know that I was there because I was under the coats. Okay, so they're being nice again. I heard the cabin door open and the voice come outside. Yeah, and this is just her telling what happened, whatever. Okay, this is just her going over everything. Okay, so we did this statement. Now we just have to have her talk about this one. I basically want to make sure that we get her whole story told to the courtroom and we break everything down. 𝕤𝕒𝕤𝕤 counsel, do you mean to tell me that the driver gave false testimony in this trial as well? Perhaps the excursion of the pawnbroker slipped his mind when he was in the stand. Indeed, Lord Von Daddy. 𝕤𝕤𝕤 took off his coat and gave it to the driver. He folded it up carefully like before handing it over. When I saw him do that, I remember thinking, that coat's and whatnot, it's gotta be like worth a few bob. Yes, Tina was sure that this was more than yeah, so she was like, oh, that coat looks like it's worth money. The driver looked pretty happy when Mr. 𝕤𝕤𝕤 flashed some brass in his face, even went off running like a lick. Then begging the bog trotter called at me and told me to come out and drag in the cabin. This is the last one.
Hold it!
Threaten you how exactly? Tell me that if I was able to scrap her if I did anything he was said, which included giving false testimony in the court 2 months ago? Yeah, that's it. And then there was one other thing he said, which was... He told me that I have to hang on to the ticket for the pawn shop and make sure not to lose it, making sure they're still not doing anything. The ticket? Well, I never! Said that if he didn't show up to get the ticket out from me before 2 months passed, I had to go to the pawn shop, pay the money, and then keep it in the lot. Not gonna hold you, I thought he was still alive. He left me with some brass to pay for it. But really, why on earth would Mr. McGill have done such a thing? Depositing his overcoat in the pawnbroker before arrival to the police, it makes no sense at all. There would seem to be only one logical explanation, my lord. What Mr. McGill had the driver deposit at the Windy Banks was something he didn't want the police to see. Something very important that he needed to hide at all costs. Anyway, after that, I let her go, so I logged before the coppers showed up. Well done, Gina. You need to put her faith in you, Luna. Yes, and next to her, she will have to face the charges of perjury once the trial is over. It's time to really go for it. Press her on every statement. I thought I did. I did. I have to do it again.
Hold it!
Yeah, I'm going fast by it because I did this already. I guess you have to like get her to say the whole story like fully. And I'm like, why do we have to do this exactly? But you know, we'll just speed through it. Speed run. Boom. Okay, cool. Boom, boom, boom. I guess you have to do it. You have to catch them immediately so that you can do this. right off the gate. Oh my god, come on, 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 come on. I was like, come on, let's go, let's go, let's go. But I pretty much have everything that I need. Do, 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 do. Oh my god, we're just gonna go through this all again. Oops. Sorry. Next statement. Oh, thank God. Thank you, Miss Lestrade. Thank you, Council. I've heard enough. Oh, thank goodness. I believe we're now in a reasonable understanding of what actually transpired on the omnibus. It would appear on the night 2 months ago, negotiation was taking place on the omnibus. A negotiation concerning the disc. However, matters do not run smoothly. When the parties involved began to quarrel over the piece, 𝕤𝕠𝕔𝕚𝕤 took what he wanted by force. I mean, yeah, he was a notoriously terrible criminal. I'm not surprised by this at all. At this expense, the other man's life. Boom. Which proves my point that this is clearly extremely valuable in some way. Although I don't exactly understand why as yet. Me either. It's just, you know, apparently this is really important. And 2 days, precisely 2 months after the omnibus incident, Mr. 𝕤𝕠𝕔𝕚𝕤's coat and its contents were due to be forfeited. I don't know what it should have done with the ticket. I mean, the coat died right after his trial. I knew that. So you decided that you would try to claim the articles as your own? Well, why not? They were only going to be forfeited. Why shouldn't I have gotten them? Anyway, you can't blame me for thinking about it. Thinking ain't no crime. Miss Lestrade, it would appear that Mr. 𝕤𝕠𝕔𝕚 was prepared to kill in order to take possessions of that disc. Do you know why that would be? Eh? No clue. But I reckon it must be worth a fair bit of brass. He was probably gonna sell it. And you can't blame me for thinking that. Thinking ain't no crime. She's poor and growed up an orphan. So, of course, her main objective is, I'm gonna sell this because she's trying to live. My lord. The evidence you requested has been located and ready for the court's inspection, sir. Oh, here we go. Oh, man. The mystery's little box deposited by Mr. 𝕤𝕠𝕔𝕚 2 months ago? There's no doubt in my mind that it's a key piece in this far-reaching puzzle. Ooh, to be continued? Okay, so what we're gonna do is obviously save this here, and then I think from what of my my friends who have told me have said is that this is basically the end of like the next part of the trial. Oh, Donnie, thank you for the raid. Appreciate it. Hi, everybody. If you don't know me, my name is Nebula, but you can call me Neby. And I am currently streaming. I was streaming Ace Attorney. I'm actually saving and ending right now for that. But I'm about to start something different. I'm about to start something even more fun. For all my viewers on YouTube, we're going to be doing the last part to next week. And for all of my viewers on Twitch, we're about to go do something even more exciting. So everybody say bye to YouTube. Bye, YouTube. I'll catch you next week.